There's nobody that ever beat me playing cards. The only one that ever beat me was myself, with my bad habits. But when I get to playing like I was on stroke this tournament, I really believe that no one can play with me on a daily basis.
In the brutal high-stakes arena of professional poker, thousands of hands are forgotten in a flash. But in 1992, at Binion's Horseshoe, one single play sent a seismic shockwave through the gambling underworld. A play so profoundly brilliant, so utterly terrifying, that it fundamentally redefined the boundaries of human intuition. This wasn't just a game of cards. It was a cold-blooded psychological execution. It was the day Stu the Kid Unger pulled off a mind-boggling masterpiece with an audacity that left the world completely speechless. This is the untold story of the hand that broke a multi-million-dollar rivalry forever. To understand the sheer mathematical madness of this hand, we must travel back to 1990. Stu Unger, the most naturally gifted card player to ever draw breath, stood on the absolute precipice of sports history. He was leading the World Series of Poker main event with a monstrous, seemingly insurmountable chip lead on the penultimate day. The third world title was his destiny. Until the next morning. When the final cards were set to be dealt, Unger's seat remained chillingly empty. Panic rippled through the convention center. His legendary friend and staker, Billy Baxter, spearheaded a frantic, desperate search through the corridors of the Golden Nugget Hotel. When they finally kicked the door open, the dream evaporated. Stu Unger was lying unconscious on the bathroom floor. A near-fatal drug overdose. As Unger lay in a hospital bed fighting for his life, his massive chip stack was blinded out, fraction by fraction, chip by chip. Even without playing a single hand on the final day, his lead was so vast he still finished ninth, taking home $25,000. But the crown was gone. The man who seized that vacant throne was Mansour Matloubi, an incredibly sharp, aggressive Iranian Welsh powerhouse who decimated the final table to secure the $835,000 grand prize. Matloubi didn't just stop there. Months later, he conquered another elite $10,000 event for an extra $160,000. The media went into a frenzy. The poker world began whispering a title that infuriated the recovering legend. They called Matloubi the new Stu Unger. For Stu, this wasn't just an insult. It was an existential threat. Enraged, humiliated, and fueled by a burning desire to reclaim his sovereign throne, Unger publicly declared that Matloubi was merely a caretaker of a title he didn't truly earn. In 1992, Stu Unger threw down the ultimate gauntlet. He challenged Matloubi to an intense, high-stakes, winner-take-all heads-up duel. The price of admission was $50,000 of pure, raw hostility. Matloubi, brimming with confidence and eager to silence the doubters, instantly accepted. The battle took place in the gritty, legendary confines of Binion's Horseshoe. Tragically, in an era before whole card cameras and live streams, no videotape captured this historic collision. We are left only with the legendary oral histories passed down by the elite pros who stood in that room. The atmosphere was suffocating. This wasn't about the 50 grand. This was a war of pure ego, a brutal fight for absolute poker supremacy. Matloubi struck first, capturing an early lead, but Unger's legendary relentless aggression slowly ground him down. By the time the final hand emerged from the deck, Unger held $60,000 in chips. Matloubi was backed into a corner with $40,000. The blinds were 200, 400. No ante. The trap was set. Unger looked down at 10-9 offsuit on the button. He fired a standard authoritative raise to $1,600. Matloubi, sitting in the big blind with 4-5 offsuit, peeled his cards and made the call. The flop fell, 7-3-3, rainbow. No flush draws. Statistically, this flop missed both men completely. A standard continuation bet here would be roughly half the pot. But Stu Unger operated on a different cognitive plane. He blasted a massive, highly unusual overbet of $6,000 into a $3,200 pot. Matloubi, holding absolutely nothing but a microscopic gutshot straight draw, made a highly speculative, incredibly optimistic call. He assumed Unger was completely airlight. The turn card dealt, a king. Both players paused. Sensing the shifting texture of the board, they both checked. Then came the river, a queen. The final board read 7-3-3 king queen. Matloubi smelled blood. He knew Unger's turn check signaled weakness. Looking across the table at the frail legend, Matloubi gathered his remaining chips and shoved them entirely into the middle. A monstrous, polarizing overbet bluff of $32,400. Unger did not blink. He was a man who famously never engaged in polite table talk. He was far more likely to berate a dealer than chat with an opponent. But in this exact moment, Unger stared directly through Matlubi's soul. Within 10 agonizing seconds, Unger spoke the words that became immortalized in poker history. "You have 4-5 or 5-6. I'm gonna call you with this." Unger flipped over his 10-9 offsuit. He called a $32,000 river shove with absolutely nothing but 10 high. Mansour Matlubi sat frozen, completely paralyzed with disbelief. It was a psychological execution. Matlubi would later recount the sheer horror of that moment, stating that when a man makes a soul-crushing call like that against you, you just give up. It completely drains the wind from your sails. Matlubi was emotionally destroyed. He realized that facing Stu Unger in a heads-up, no-limit Texas Holdem battle was a mountain he could simply never climb. In the aftermath of that historic night, Matlubi made a definitive resolution. He would never face the kid heads-up again. It was their final, legendary confrontation. But how did Unger know? In the modern era of poker theory, Unger's play looks like reckless madness. But his genius lay in a flawless, instinctual understanding of human psychology. He recognized that Matlubi's massive call on the flop, followed by a passive check on the turn, meant he couldn't possibly hold a monster like a full house or trips. If Matlubi actually had a real hand, he would have bet smaller on the river to bait Unger into a trap. By shoving for over twice the size of the pot, Matlubi polarized his hand completely. He either had absolute world-class strength, or absolute garbage. And Stu Unger trusted his terrifying, hyper-focused intuition over the math. He saw right through the bravado. It remains, to this day, the ultimate testament to the intricate psychological dance of poker. A reminder that sometimes, the game isn't played with the cards in your hand, it's played entirely in the mind of the man sitting across from you.